Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning viewer and if you're new here, I'm so happy that you found me. My name is Hannah and today I'm working in my art journal, and for my art journal I'm using the actual Moleskine sketchbook. It is a 160 GSM sketchbook, so the paper is not very thick, but it will take acrylics. Okay. If you've watched my previous video, it was my art studio vlog number 1. I actually started working on this spread in that video, and all I did on camera was to apply some texture paste to the corners where you can see like mandala design. It's actually a stencil that I make, and I used to sell that stencil in my Etsy shop, but it didn't get much interest, so I removed the listing and it's unfortunately no longer available, but I use it for myself. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I mostly paint landscape or architecture, but from time to time I like to do a portrait kind of thing. And for that day, I actually picked a tarot card to inspire my spread, and it was the Fool. And if you know anything about tarot, you will know what the Fool means, but it basically is like, take a leap of faith and new beginnings and all that. I'm not going to go into details here because it was just an inspiration, but I kind of mixed two ideas at the end. And so my initial inspiration was the Fool, and then I heard this song by Billie Eilish, You Should See Me Wearing a Crown, or You Should See Me Wear a Crown, or something like this. And it was kind of like a cool song and cool lyrics, and so I mixed the two. So I mixed the card theme that you will see later on. I added some cards to my spread, and I've made this girl look like a princess, or little details like that. But I ended up doing this sketch very, very loosely. I held my pencil really loosely at the very end of it. I didn't want anything to be perfect because my background isn't perfect. Like, it's not about perfection, it's about kind of putting your feelings down on paper, you could say. So yeah, it was kind of like just a play, but inspired by the tarot card and by the song. Okay, so the initial sketch was done with the pencil that was Stabilo all black pencil. Then I changed my mind and I actually used this ultramarine blue Woody, and then I started adding some colors with acrylic paint. When I was doing those kind of art journal spreads in the past that I featured a portrait of some kind, I always strived for perfection, and because I'm not a very good portrait artist, I could never achieve what I envisioned. So then I came across Iris Impressions art, and this woman inspires me so much. She is so free and so loose with her portraits. She just does whatever. Like, one eye is crooked, the other one is closed, and she puts those funky eyelashes and things on that. And there's a lot of artists that do those kind of whimsical portraits in like such a cool way, but I think Iris is definitely one of my favorite ones. It's just because she's not looking for perfection, she's just loose and she's just playing with her paint. So I feel like I'm aspiring to be like Iris. I know some people might say, oh, you're just copying someone else's work. Well, not exactly. It is not me copying Iris's work or anyone else's work. It is me taking inspiration from other people's work, because different people use different techniques and they use different tools, and I feel Like, YouTube is such a amazing platform that you can really learn and pick up different things from different people, and you basically see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you can choose to maybe include those techniques that you've learned from other people in your future work, or you choose not to. Or you might come across someone else and that person is doing something great and you love it and you try it, and maybe you put your own spin on it, and it just makes it super super special and super super you. And I think there's nothing wrong with admitting that someone else's work inspires you, or some other artist inspires you, and you try and maybe try their style. Because if you're on, okay, I'll put those little quotation marks. If you're on a journey of finding your own style, then how are you going to find your own style if you don't do things, or if you don't try things? And I think it's cool to actually be inspired by other people and by other people's work, as long as you admit that they inspire you and you credit them when necessary. And here I've added those little playing cards I've mentioned before. These cards actually come from a Stamperia pack, scrapbooking paper pack, Alice in Wonderland. And at the time when I was still doing my bullet journal, 1 month I had an entire theme created with those scrapbooking papers. It was my Alice in Wonderland theme, and I freaking loved it. I see if I can find a video for this, and if I do, you will see the link in the top corner and in the description box if you want to see. It could be like a plan with me kind of video, or maybe a flip through, one of those. So if it is on my YouTube channel, I will link it down below so you can have a look. But yeah, I did save those cards, and I saved a few bits and pieces that I had left over from that pack of papers, and I use them in my work from time to time. I found this cool poem by Grace Fallow Norton online, and I decided to print it out and include this in my spread. And I actually created kind of like a book cover kind of pocket thingy majiggy. I don't know how to explain it. One card is stuck to the bottom of the page, and I folded the paper inside and I stuck the other card on top. And this is a little hidey place for my little poem. And the poem says, "The wise men said I'd miss the bar, and when I tried, I fell. The fool dangled his trinket star and cried, 'You leap so well! You leap so well, now you must leap this high and very much higher.' So when the wise men were asleep, I jumped the tower and the spire." I think it's such a cool little poem. And when you think of the Fool, a tarot card is all about taking that leap of faith and being brave and adventurous. I think this poem reflects it quite well, and I'm happy I found it. And especially because my art journal is a little bit about being brave and being adventurous and trying different things. My sketchbooks are for my watercolors, but here in this art journal I actually play. And yeah, sometimes I take a leap of faith and I try some new things, and sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. But yeah, this is what my art journal is about. I try to tidy up. I always make so much mess when I create anything. My desk is like a hurricane went through it. So here, a little bit of tidying up and some extra details. And here's the finished spread. I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoyed this little video and the little poem that I found for my spread. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.